Well, it's a boiler here in Ohio. It feels a lot. It says 72.
It's humid.
That's it. It's humid. It's hot right now in Ohio. Just leaving Ollie's game. Unfortunately, they lost 12-11. Played great. The whole team did. Of course, it's Little League ball, so errors were made, but they played good. Unfortunate loss here in, where are we at? Avon, Ohio. I was having a lot of fun. They were winning the whole game for the most part. It was back and forth, and I'm sitting there watching Ollie play. He was doing a little pitching. I was watching him play, and then our qualifiers were on also. Great day at the qualifiers. James actually called me after the qualifiers to talk about the horses, which was rare for him. Yesterday, we had a great day at the qualifiers. Blue Rare looked very good. Now, I told everybody I would have been gushing about how good she finished and how good she looked, but there was a number of fillies that looked really, really good in Ontario yesterday. The one that caught my eye the most, Paul Reed had a filly in the last qualifier. I don't know if you watched them other than ours.
Yeah, James's horse was in that one.
Yeah, did you see that thing finish up, Paul Reed's filly?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she looked good. Beautiful gait too. I hate the maps thing here. It's really driving me crazy. I just need it to be like a normal map.
Follow the instructions.
I know, but I shouldn't have to follow the instructions. Then don't use this because this colorful thing is useless. So, a Blue Rare was good. Obviously, riding the rodeo I thought was pretty good. 2 minutes 27 flat in the end of it. I thought was.
I think it's worth noting that if you look at the times today, and they gave the track a second yesterday.
Yeah, that's true too.
Times today were
Amy, I didn't realize it, and I'm sure if I didn't, you guys did not. But the track was not good yesterday. Apparently, they gave the track a second on a nice sunny day. They gave the track. Was it windy or just deep? Must have been deep. They gave the track a second yesterday for the qualifiers. So Blue Rare was good. Simply Chaotic was good, but the other filly, who was the other filly?
Dune.
The other one, Dune, was fantastic. Dune was very good. Do you know her last half was 55-3? Last quarter and 27 seconds flat.
She was a little jammed up in the last one.
Yeah, she was, and then the last 100 yards, just all out sprint. Just an impressive filly, and I said it before, I never hear James gush about the horses. You know, if you drive a really nice horse, and of course James drives the best horses that come to Canada, so you never really hear James go on and on and on. I missed my turn, didn't I? Case Road. Okay. You never hear James go on and on and on about a horse, but you know, he kept telling me how much he liked Dune and how much of a nice filly she was. Jody actually messaged me after I did the video yesterday. He goes, well, if James doesn't want to go to Michigan to drive that filly in a fair, I'll go. Yeah. And they all know that at the end of the year, there is a $100,000 final, I think, in Michigan also. I was worried there was only like 5 or 6 races, but as Lauren put it to me, there's like 8 stake races, 2 futurities, an elimination and a final. There's a full 12 stakes, I think, for that filly in Michigan this year, which is more than enough as far as 2-year-olds are concerned. So really happy with her going into today. How would Solidarity do? How would Simply Chaotic do? How would Lifting Legend do? I had no idea. They said they were training good. I haven't gone with Lifting Legend in a very long time, so I really didn't know what to think. The horse just looked great. He went out and did his work well. First over into the coming out of the last turn, 28-2 on the end of it, and ran down the leader. Now the times were a little bit slower today because here's the thing I never understand about Ontario, right? In general, is that we've trained those trotters in 2-2, 2-1, somewhere around there, 2-3 maybe, I don't know, and then we go out and get over the quarter in 34 seconds with them. It's nice to let them see the gate in a first qualifier, but it's always baffling to me how they do that. But whatever, it's not the end of the world. The horse looked good. He did his work well and finished up well. You know, obviously you're going to see big last quarters when you see slow halves, but Lifting Legend did his work well. And you know, as James and I were talking about it after, I said, you know, we don't know how fast he can go. I said, but at the end of the day, he's handy, right? Leave, sit, follow, does his work well. Showed a quarter in 28-2 now in his first qualifier. So there's always going to be a spot for a Lifting Legend, whether he's just a really handy grassroots type horse or whether he finds his way into the sire stakes. Will be up to Lifting Legend, Dominic and James. But for today, he was impressive. Looking Solidarity, I had no idea what to think also. As I said to James, I know a lot of people have been messaging me saying, well, when's he going to Pennsylvania? I know he's got that stake at the end of the 26th, but he may never go to Pennsylvania. May just get that horse ready for Kentucky also. do not fool yourself, even for a second, into thinking that somehow there's some easy racing waiting for us in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has been the Shark Tank of horse racing for well over a decade. And I always go back to him made those breaks on a 5/8 mile track, on a half-mile track, and we never really got to the bottom of why, quite frankly. When it came to Leland Hanover, we saw those splints pop out the other day, and I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. We've never had that moment with Solidarity. He went from a half to a 7/8 while trained on a 5/8, and then seemingly the brakes just disappeared for the most part. So I'm thinking, if he's fast enough, the Red Mile is the place you're probably going to see him show up. He can race in Ontario until then. Now, unless James simply says, no, I think he's fine. Go ahead and race him. Go ahead and race him in Pennsylvania. Then by all means he'll get there. But there is no rush. So there's no need to message me and say, okay, so when's he going to get to Tim's and what race do you think he's going to be in? He may never go to Pennsylvania. That will be up to. Is this Avalon Road? No. Yeah, it says it is. This is weird. It's sending us through here. Oh, well, whatever. That will be up to, as I said, Dominic, James, and the horse. We have options with him. He is staked to Kentucky and Pennsylvania. And if he goes to Pennsylvania, great. And if he doesn't, I'm okay with that too. There's more than enough racing for that horse in the state of Kentucky. So, Solidarity, 58-4, 26-4 on the end of it. A big last quarter from him. That was an impressive rally, and closing hard into them. And it wasn't that followed speed cautiously and just kind of crept down the lane. James said at no point did he feel like he was going to make a break. He said the horse was very strong, finished up really well. I was really happy with him. So if James is happy with him, obviously I'm very happy with him too. And a great job by our staff over there, right? Dominic, Danny, Johnny, James, everybody going with the horses every single week has done just a tremendous job with these horses, and it was on display the last 48 hours. And then the last one, I knew. So here's the thing with Simply Chaotic. He's always, and I told you guys, his number one issue is he's never carried nor put on a lot of weight. He looks skinny, and he eats pretty good. So we're constantly trying him on supplements for his hind gut and this and that, and trying to put weight on him, and he's slowly putting it on. But quite frankly, he is a little bit light. And James and I and Dominic have talked about this. Amy and I had talked about it the other day. Do they have him on Gastrogard right now? Or just so he's on Gastrogard and Sucrafate. So he's on two different supplements for his guts, and he is eating well now, though. So if he's eating well and we keep him at a low stress environment, the horse should put weight on. And that was kind of all about today, right? And my argument, it wasn't an argument, it was a good discussion with James the other day, was, well, should we wait to qualify him? Well, we can wait to qualify him, but speed-wise, he's going to be behind everybody else. What if we just went easy with him? Which was the consensus. I didn't even notice that James had put Austin Sori on the horse until after they post-paraded, when they were going up behind the gate. I'm like, who's driving our horse? And it was Austin. Now, I didn't realize this. Do you know that Austin Sori is the leading driver in Canada right now by wins? And not even close. Not even close. I think he's 30 or 40 wins ahead of maybe James and the rest of those guys. So certainly a more than capable young man to be filling in, and has done work for us in the past. Got away. Obviously, James and him had discussed the horse beforehand. Got away directly at the back, which, if I didn't know that exactly that was the plan, I'd be like, are you kidding me? We're going to go half in 107 at Mohawk. 107, 106. He was at the half in 106 apiece. Yeah, it's baffling to me. But I guess to them, the next first stake race isn't until the 26th. That's the Tompkin Gears. And then after that, they race. So maybe they just figure they're just going to qualify them. First week, very easy. Second week, a little more. And then go from there, which appears to be the plan. What was shocking to me was, and I had to go back and look, the fastest last quarter of any trotter over the last 48 hours was Simply Chaotic. He shows a charted last quarter of 26-3, which leads me to believe that he has more than enough hanging off his belly right now to sustain where we need him to go. But therein lies the problem. Can he continue to put weight on as we're qualifying and getting him ready to race, and then racing him throughout the summer? It's generally a very difficult thing to do. Easy to take weight off them, but very difficult to put weight on them as they're at this point in time. So we're working very hard. We've been working diligently to put the weight on them, but albeit now I haven't seen him, but Amy saw him. Said, what did you call him? A little ribby. Now, were you being honest or were you being kind? Because James might have used the word biafran once or twice. Is he skinny, or is he just, man, that's a lean looking animal?
Yeah, no, he...
Not a lot of eating on him.
Yeah.
As an old timer used to tell me. What kind of shape's he in? Not a lot of eating on that fella. So we're going to continue to work to get him the weight on. I mean, the good news is this. You know, the only reason that we can mildly joke about it is he has been eating well. His appetite is coming up. He looks comfortable. His biggest test would have been how strong is he? And clearly the horse is strong enough since he came the fastest last quarter of anybody, any trotter over the last 2 days. And he was closing harder. His last 100 yards were the best of the race. So my big question, I guess, would be, how did he eat his lunch today? How did he eat his supper today? And how is his appetite tomorrow? That would be my biggest question to the Ontario Barn, and one that I will pose to the Ontario Barn this afternoon. Now, for the rest of the weekend, kind of spotty. I don't think we have any highlights to talk about. We have a bunch of horses that are middle of the road odds. If you go by the odds, our horses to watch over the next 24 hours will be me tomorrow with Arrowhead Hanover, who is in tough. Go Dog Go's got the rail in there. Yeah, good bunch of horses, but he's a good horse himself, coming off a lifetime mark of 54 flat. He's no joke. And if I get the right trip and have an opportunity to beat them, no doubt in my mind he will. And then Spitfire Overseas, middle of the gate, Tyler Angus is going to get his opportunity. I kind of felt bad. I apologize to Stacy, who will hopefully convey it to Brett. No disrespect to Tyler. He's doing great and a good kid. I like the kid a lot. But Brett Miller's driven Spitfire Overseas dozens of times, and seemingly Brett Miller will be in the driver's room watching and Tyler Angus drive Spitfire Overseas. So I think maybe dropped the ball. That was my fault. Both Jason and I saw that after the draw. I didn't realize, it didn't dawn on me that Brett was even at the racetrack. And I was a little surprised that Chris didn't take the horse to begin with, but he said that he knows the horse, the other horse. And you know, anytime you're trying to get one of the bigger drivers to drive Spitfire Overseas, it has to be with the understanding that you're likely not driving him next week, right? So it makes it a little more difficult to do. But Tyler Angus is having a tremendous year. He's a good kid, good set of hands, and hopefully Spitfire's not the easiest horse to read into, but hopefully he can get along well with him. So that's what took place today. Thoroughly pleased with our Ontario horses. The only two we have left. We waited 1 week to go with Steady Volo. As I said to Harry, there's no rush. He's not going anywhere until the Red Mile. So qualifying this week, next week, whatever you want. Just make sure he's ready to go. He'll have 2 qualifiers, and then he'll start at Mohawk. Yep, thank you. And as I said, Solidarity, not really feeling any pressure at all with Solidarity. I'm going to let James, Dominic, and the horse tell me where he needs to go. If he's ready for Pennsylvania, he'll go to the Meadows, his first state race. I think that's where it is. And if he's not, and we think he needs a little more time, or maybe perhaps he likes a bigger track, James feels he's better at Mohawk, then we'll just wait till a Red Mile for him also. So 2 very good horses, both of them well-bred. Solidarity is well-bred as you're going to get, and our only way into that pedigree this year was to lean on Tall Dark Stranger a little bit, who maybe was not thought of that highly at the sales in 2024. So not very often you're going to get that type of pedigree. So let's take care of him, take our time, and make sure he's at 105% and ready to rock when we need him to. So that is your Saturday in a nutshell. We have our opening to do. Amy is with me. We're going to do our opening. We're going to get a little bite to eat. We're at the restaurant in 12 minutes, and we're going to take the whole afternoon to get our videos out of the way. I don't think there's a necessity to really make a top 10 list anymore. That will be told front and center. You don't need me to give you a top 10 list. Just look at how the qualifiers are going. And I think a top 10 list would not do our horses in Ontario justice. Those were some fantastic qualifiers yesterday. Certainly a shake-up. If we did happen to do a list like that, you'd have to put Dune near the top, right? You would have to. She made it onto the list, but I don't think when I talked about Dune and when we talked about Dune, it was always in the sphere of Michigan, right? This is a nice Michigan filly. No, this is a nice filly To the point, I know. Wow. What is this?
Oh, those are 3 houses put together.
What do they call them? 3 plexes or whatever?
I don't know. No, we probably shouldn't. No, there's 4.
There's a brown dog having a poop on the side of the road. This is a nice area, Yvonne, right? Beautiful area. Anyway, yeah. I know that James was wondering after the qualifier, is there anything we can put her into? And the answer, quite frankly, is, I mean, if she's an absolute knockout killer, then theoretically there might be a couple of stakes at the end of the year. But I guess my answer to that would be, let's let her be a filly. Let's let her be a 2-year-old filly first and foremost. And if she screams, hey, is there anything else at the end of the year, then I guess we can talk about that. But for the most part, it's really difficult to supplement any 2-year-olds into anything. I only know one race you can supplement into, and that's the one we did with 3 Point Blue Chip at the Matron at 2. But you're talking about the best of the best. So let's just worry about Michigan for now. Very pleased with what I've seen out of Ontario. You know, much like you know, we don't do enough videos because of the geography of the first line training center. Of course, the weather dominates most of our ability to do that. But very pleased with what I saw from Ontario. So for Dominic and our caretakers too, right? Cindy, Michelle, Teresa, Tyson, you know, Harry, Dominic, Johnny, Danny, and James. Everybody that's worked there. Obviously, our industry is the proof's in the pudding, right? This is all Missouri, and you have to show me. And they certainly looked like they are on the right track heading into their 2025 stakes. So a resounding success coming out of Ontario for our 2-year-old qualifiers. Hopefully we can follow that up. The Meadows, I'm super excited about the Meadows. Amy and I, just with the little ones in the back, it's just been such a chaotic summer, and it's not going to get any easier. We're trying to figure out where we're gonna go, what we're gonna do, and how we're going to accomplish that. And some of that will come from lunch today, but have a little board meeting. But for the most part, couldn't be happier. Anytime I get to spend time with my family in this setting, it's great. Now we didn't start the day with a win, but it certainly was a great ball game. Tonight, Amy and I are going out to celebrate our anniversary. 40 years we've been together now.
Feels like it.
13 years, just like a dream to you, right? Just like a fleeting moment. 13 years together tomorrow. So anniversary dinner tonight, and then again divorced again tomorrow. She's going to Ontario. I'm going to the Poconos. We have lots on the go over the next week or two, but it should be. Listen, I know it's chaotic, but honestly, it could be a lot worse, right? We could be bored at home, doing nothing, watching races, and wondering what we're going to do for the rest of the week. It's chaos. Obviously, it would be nicer to have it a little less chaotic.
There's a jaw and implant center.
A what?
Jaw.
A what?
Jaw
implant center. I didn't know.
Implant.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
assuming it means teeth.
I didn't know that there was a big demand for jaw
I
implants.
just don't know if that's what I would call my business.
No, maybe clean it up a little bit. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. The weather's beautiful here. It's been a great morning thus far, and hopefully a great end to the weekend tomorrow. So good luck to all my partners today, starting with Patrick the Prawn at 4 o'clock. We Trosa in tonight.
Temple again.
Yeah, it is. I know. I just said that the other day. I can't believe how bad this horse is drawing. And then, of course, we have Rock Shining Star. I lied. Rock Shining Star is our best option. And Tyler is making he was smart. Kid was smart. All the big drivers are at Northfield tonight for the big races. He pivoted and went down to Scioto for the weekend. So I'm not sure how many drives he got. I hope he got a bunch, but he definitely has a shot with Rock Shining Star. So I guess, truthfully, that's our best shot for today. Take care. We'll talk to you all soon. We got lunch. We have all your videos. I'll have them done, maybe even out to you tonight. Yeah, we can stop by the barn. Maybe even have them out to you tonight or tomorrow morning. But for right now, signing off. I will talk to you all soon. Take care.